السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والصلاة والسلام على رسولنا محمد سيد الأولين والآخرين. مدد رسول مدد سادة مدد مشهد دستور. قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم: جنبوا مساجدكم صبيانكم ومجانينكم وشراءكم وبيعكم وخصوماتكم ورفع أصواتكم وإقامة حدودكم وسل سيوفكم واتخذوا أبوابها المطاهرة وجمروها في الجمعة. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor ki, çocuklarınızı, delilerinizi, satın alışınızı, satışınızı, münakaşalarınızı, seslerinizi yükseltmeyi, had cezalarını, infazını ve kılıçlarınızı kınından çıkartmayı mescitlerinden uzak tutun. Yani mescit ibadet için.
Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, speaks about the importance that the masjid should solely be dedicated for worshipping Allah Almighty.
Olsun, dünya işleri için olmasın diyor Peygamber.
The masjids should not be used for worldly affairs or for any other kind of business.
Çocuklar çok ufak çocuk oluyor yani öyle.
In this hadith, our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, also mentions that one should also pay attention that when bringing children to the masjid, especially when they're babies, that one should make sure that they do not disturb the congregation.
Yani normal anlayan çocuk 2-3 yaşından sonra olabilir de daha ufaklar bazen böyle bağırıyor insanlar.
When the child is still a newborn, a baby, when the child is less than 2 or 3 years, then it can be difficult to make sure that the child remains silent. And our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, recommends that when attending the masjid with children, one should pay attention that the child does not disturb the congregation.
Dinletemiyor. Deliler de orada bir şey yaparsa, yani rahat durursa bir şey değil de.
And our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, also mentions that if somebody has a mental disease and is unable to keep quiet in the masjid, it's important that to make sure that when these people attend the masjid, that there should be in a state at that moment that they do not disturb the others during their worship.
Satış almak, satış yapmak. Ondan sonra.
Moreover, our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, says that the masjid is not a place for buying and selling. It's not a place for worldly business.
Mescidin ise münakaşa, kavga, ya şunu bunu de.
And our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, mentions that the masjid is not a place for arguing or for discussing with others in an argument.
Ses yükseltmeyi.
The masjid, our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, says is not a place where to raise one's voices loudly.
Ondan sonra eskiden ceza camide infaz olmasın diyor Peygamber Efendimiz'den.
And the masjid is not a place where punishment should be executed.
Ondan sonra kılıçlar, yani birbirinize kılıç çekilmez mescitlerde.
And the masjid is not a place where one should pull out one's sword or weapon.
Bunlardan uzak tutun diyor.
And thus our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, teaches us about the good behavior and the good conduct within the masjid, and that we should make sure that it is a place of worship and it remains a place of worship for Allah Almighty.
Mescitleri Allah Azze ve Celle'nin evi olduğu için
the masjid is the house of Allah Almighty.
Onları ibadet için, huzurlu olmak için.
Therefore, we should act accordingly in the masjid, and we should ensure that the peace in the masjid is preserved.
Allah Azze ve Celle Peygamber Efendimiz'in tavsiyesi oluyor.
Thus, these recommendations from our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, inspired through Allah Almighty, are to make sure that we respect that the masjids are the houses of Allah Almighty, where people come to experience the inner peace of worshipping Allah Almighty.
Abdest alma yerlerini mescitlerin kapılarının yakınında yapınız.
Now, our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, recommends that the places of ablution should be next to the entrance, close to the entrance of the masjid.
Yani çünkü abdest alıp da camiye, mescitlere girmek için.
Because so that people before entering the masjid, they can directly have their ablution and then enter the masjid with having performed and completed their ablution.
Cuma günleri onları buhurla kokulandırırız. Yani tütsü var. Onu cuma günleri yapmak sünnettir.
And our beloved Prophet, peace be upon him, also recommended that on the day of Jummah, one may spread buhur or beautiful scents and perfumes within the masjid.
قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم خصال لا تنبغي في المسجد لا يتخذ طريقا ولا يشهر فيه سلاح ولا يقبض فيه بقوس ولا ينثر فيه نبل خصال لا تنبغي في المسجد لا يتخذ طريقا ولا يشهر فيه سلاح ولا يقبض فيه بقوس ولا ينثر فيه نبل ولا يمر فيه لحم نيء ولا يضرب فيه حد ولا يقبض فيه أحد ولا يقتص فيه أحد ولا يقتص فيه من أحد ولا يتخذ سوقا. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor ki bazı hasletlere, özellikler vardır ki bu mescide yapılmazlar.
Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, mentions that there are certain types of behaviors which should not be applied to the masjid.
Yapılmazlar. Mescit yol edinilmez. Yani mescitten geçip de yol gibi öteki tarafa başka yere gitmek o iyi değil.
So for example, our beloved Prophet, peace be upon him, mentions that the masjid should not be used as a shortcut to get from one place to another faster.
İçinde silah ortaya çıkarılmaz.
And the masjid is not the place where one should pull out one's weapon.
Yani eskiden kılıç, bıçak falan vardı. Yani
in former times, people would use swords and knives as weapons.
Tabancaydı, tüfekti. Onlar da caminin içinde göstermesi, yani çıkarıp da tehdit etmesi.
Now people may have guns or other kinds of weapons, and the masjid is not a place for weapons, and it's not a place where to pull out one's weapon and to show off with one weapons or to direct one's weapon at another person.
O yasaktır. Ele yay alınmaz. Ok atılmaz. Yani caminin içine yayla ok atılmaz.
And in the masjid, one should not shoot arrows with a bow.
İçinden çiğ et geçirilmez.
And the masjid, and one should make sure that one does not carry raw meat through a masjid.
Had, şer'i ceza uygulanmaz. Yani had, şer'i ceza, kırbaçlamaydı, şu başka şeyler, o ne varsa o caminin içinde olmaz diyor Peygamber.
And the masjid is not the place then where the laws are being executed.
Hiç kimsenin kısas cezası uygulanmaz. Yani kısas bile olsa caminin içinde olmaz. Onu dışarıda yapacaklar.
And when it's a situation where it's an eye for an eye, even that should not be executed within the masjid.
Ve çarşı olarak kullanılmaz.
And the masjid shall not be used as a marketplace.
قال Resulullah sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem "Ad-dahik fil mescid zulmetun fil kabr." Peygamber buyuruyor ki mescide gülmek kabirde karanlıktır. Yani lüzumsuz yerde gibi gülmek değil. Ama
And our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, mentions that to laugh out loudly within the masjid for no reason, for nothing, will bring darkness to one's grave.
Olarak insanlar arasında bir hoşnutluk olmak için latifeler olur.
Of course, one can have a nice conversation with each other and make subtle jokes, but the masjid is not a place where one should laugh out loudly.
قال رسول صلى الله عليه وسلم عرضت علي أمتي بأعمالها حسنها وسيئها فرأيت في محاسن أعمالها إماطة الأذى عن الطريق ورأيت في سيء أعمالها نخاعة في المسجد لم تدفن. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor ki ümmetim amellerinden iyilikleri ve kötülükleri bana arz olundu. Yani Peygamber'e gösterildi.
Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, mentions that the good and the bad deeds of my nation are being presented to me.
Ümmetinin en güzel iyilikleri, kötülükler nedir değil mi? Onların iyilikleri arasında, o iyiliklerin arasında yoldan geçen eziyet verici şey kaldırılmasının bulunduğu gördüm. Yani
And when the good deeds and the bad deeds of my nation were presented to me, our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, says that among the best of the good deeds is the deed of when there is harm in the way, to remove that harm out of a person's way.
Yani yolda giderken taş gördün.
So for example, while walking down a street, you see a stone lying there.
Diken, şimdi daha beter kutular, naylonlar falan ne kadar kirli pislik varsa onu.
Or if you see any kinds of pollutions, such as plastic bags or boxes or any kind of packages.
Temizlemek bu Peygamber Efendimiz'in sevdiği şeylerdir bu.
To remove them from that way, to clean them, is a deed which is liked very much by our beloved Prophet, peace be upon him.
Bu yani gördüğü, sevdiği şeylerin arasındadır. Kötülükler arasında da mescitte toprak üzerine gömülmeden bırakılmış balgam bulunduğu gördüm.
And our beloved Prophet, peace be upon him, mentions that among the worst of the bad deeds I've seen is that when people spit out their saliva inside the masjid and they do not cover it.
Tabii dediğimiz gibi eski camilerde seccade, taş maş yok, mermer de yok, şey yok. O vakit yeni İslam olmuşlar.
In former times, the masjids did not have floors as we are used to know today. There were no carpets on the floors, or there wasn't no. It wasn't a floor made of stone, but it was floor made of earth or sand.
Araplar, Bedeviler nereye gökşe balgam atardı. O da.
And in former times, when Islam came, it was common behavior that people would spit on the floor among Bedouins.
Peygamber Efendimiz'in Ali Cenab'ın güzelliğini, temizliğinden dolayı o hiç sevmediği şey. Onu.
But our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, he detested it. He did not like it at all that people would spit on the ground.
Örtmesi lazım insan.
And even if people did so, he required them to cover it with earth.
Ama o zaten bizde yok bu arada.
But this behavior no longer exist, and it does not apply. It doesn't even exist in our culture.
قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم عرضت علي أجور أمتي حتى القضاة يخرجها الرجل من المسجد عرضت علي ذنوب أمتي فلم أرد من أعظم من سورة من القرآن أو آية أوتيها رجل ثم نسيها. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor ki ümmetimin sevapları bana arz olundu. Yani
our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, mentions that the good deeds, the rewards of my nation were presented to me.
Peygamber Efendimiz'e gösterildi. Yani sevap işler nasıl nedir?
So our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, was shown the good deeds and the rewards of the people.
Hatta kişinin mescitten çıkarıp attığı bir çöp parçasına kadar. Yani
and among those good deeds that were shown and presented to our beloved Prophet were the deeds such as removing any kind of dump and removing that out of the masjid and throwing it out.
Mescitte bir ufak bir kağıt parçası, tahta parçası ne varsa yani ufacık bir şey olsa o bile Peygamber Efendimiz'e gösterildi.
Even if it's a small piece of dirt, or even if it's a small piece of leftover, a piece of paper that is lying on the ground, or a piece of wood, or any kind, even removing that out of the masjid is being presented to our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, as a good deed.
Ümmetimin günahları bana arz olundu. Kişinin Kur'an'dan bir veya sure veya bir ayet öğrenip de onu unutmasından daha büyük bir günah görmedim.
And our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, also mentions that the bad deeds were also presented to him, and he, peace and blessings be upon him, says that I haven't seen anything worse, that one memorizes something from the Quran and then forgets it.
Yani bu şimdi Allah affetsin bizi de devamlı söylüyorum, bu çocukları hepsi hafızlığa veriyoruz.
And this is something we keep repeating, that when we raise our children, we should pay attention that how they memorize and that they practice. And children are sent to Quran schools to become hafiz.
Ama sonra ne oluyor? %95'i hafız da unutuyor.
And they learn the Quran, and then 95% then after some time forgets what they have learned by heart.
Olmaz işte.
And this is not good.
O yapacak, hayat boyu okuyacağı kadar öğretin.
One should be taught as much as one will apply throughout his life.
Bu vebalın antına girme. Bazıları zorla yapıyorlar. Onu çocuk nereden kalır hemen. Onun için.
And then children are sometimes forced to attend these classes, and then they learn, and then after some time they simply forget because they were forced to it. And then we've burdened ourselves with the responsibility or the bad behavior which our beloved Prophet, peace and blessing be upon him, criticized.
So mühim olan çocuğu sevdirmek.
What is important is to make our children love,
bu şeylere sevdirmek.
And to make them love to read the Quran and to learn the Quran.
Bir de çocuk hafız oldu, hadi o olmaz. Hafızsa sen ya takip edeceksin.
And when you want to raise your children as a hafiz, you should make sure that you practice with your child.
Ya sen takip edeceğin kadar bir şey öğret kendisine.
Or you should teach the child as much as you can practice with that child.
Sen de beraber oturup dinleyesin.
So you should also sit down with your child and listen to what your child has learned.
Günde bir, 2 günde bir, haftada bir bile olsa.
At once daily, or every second day, or even if it's just one time a week, you should sit down with your child and listen to what it has learned.
O şeyi dinlemek hem sana sevap olur, hem o çocuk vebaldan kurtulmuş olur.
And if you then listen to your child, then it will be a reward for you. And on the other side, that child will not have committed that bad deed of forgetting what it has memorized.
قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قابل النعال. Buyuruyor ki mescitte ayakkabılarınızı farklı yerlerde değil, bir arada üst üste koyunuz. Yani ayakkabılık gibi tabi.
Our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, says that one should not throw around one's shoes before entering the masjid, but one should make sure that they're stacked upon each other in an orderly manner.
Peygamber Efendimiz'in gördüğü şey bizim şimdiki yaptıklarımız, bir şey zannediyor ki o vakit hiç böyle bir şey yoktu. Peygamber Efendimiz'in her güzel şeyi o gösteriyordu.
And this is just yet another example of the beautiful behavior and the good manners of our beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, that even back then he paid attention, that he even mentions that one should pay attention to how to put one's shoes before entering the masjid, and the shoes should be put in an orderly manner, stacked upon each other.
قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من أتى المسجد لشيء فهو حظه Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor ki kim mescide bir şey maksat için gelirse, giderse sadece kendisi için gitti, o şey payındadır. Yani ne şey yapıyorsa, niyeti varsa o hasıl olur Allah'ın izniyle.
And when our beloved Prophet, peace be upon him, mentions that when one goes to the masjid and goes to the masjid with a certain intention, he will get to see his intention will be fulfilled.
قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من أخرج أذى من المسجد بنى الله له بيتا في الجنة. Peygamber sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem buyuruyor ki kim mescitten insanlara rahatsız verici bir şeyi çıkarsa Allah ona cennete bir ev inşa eder.
And our Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, says that if somebody removes something out of the masjid which disturbs the people, Allah Almighty will build a house for him in paradise.
Yani bir çöpünden, kırıntısından ne varsa, öyle kötü şey varsa onu Allah rızası için mescidi temiz tutsun diye çıkarırsa,
if it's some kind of dirt or garbage, a small piece on the ground, if one removes that out of the masjid,
Allah onun o ufacık şey karşılığında cennete bir ev verir.
And in order to keep the masjid clean, then Allah Almighty will reward that person with a house in paradise.
Allah hepimize nasip etsin inşallah.
May Allah Almighty grant us that reward to all of us.
صدق رسول الله فيما قال أو كما قال إلى زيادة وشرف النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وأصحابه الكرام وإلى أرواح جميع الأنبياء والمرسلين خدماء شرعا وإلى أرواح أئمة الأربعة وإلى أرواح مشايخنا في الطريقة النقشبندية العلية خاصة إلى إمام الطريقة وغوث الخليقة خواجة بهاء محمد ويسير البخاري سيدنا عبد الخالق الغجواني مولانا شيخ شرف الدين داوساني مولانا شيخ عبد الله فاز داوساني مولانا شيخ محمد ناظم هادن الحقاني وسائر ساداتنا والصديقين ومن هم حضرة الجبل حسين جوزاء فندر الحاق حاج مصطفى التراب جملة من geçmişler olarak şehit şuhadaların ruhları için Allah Teala Fatiha.